장도하고 친이라고 연장하고 지가를 송가랬으나 대나 상자바 공시다 라파 농왔다 저번 뇌바때 상자바 나데비치니 대나 상자바 공시 상자바 이바 이제샤라 공시다 라파 농왔다 저번 뇌바때 상자바 나데비치니 상자바 공시 공시다 라파 농왔다 마저바 뇌바때 아니 상자 나주비치니
So then, as we discussed about these three aspects of an object, and as it appears to an consciousness apprehending it, then it is furthermore like summarily explained, and defined in this manner, the true expectarian and false expectarian. So then, to kind of sum it up again, then the definition of a true expectarian proponent of mind only is a proponent of mind only who asserts that an appearance of a gross object to a sense consciousness exists as it appears. This is the definition of a true expectarian. And whereas the definition of a false expectarian proponent of mind only is a proponent of mind only who asserts that an appearance of a gross object to a sense consciousness does not exist as it appears at all. So if these two, the true expectarian and false expectarians, are the two main sub-schools of mind only, then like the true expectarian sub-school is further divided into three different sub-schools. And there are three types of true expectarians. And these three are the proponents of an equal number of subjects and objects, and then half-agists, and then non-pluralistics. So then, these three types of true expectarians, the one who asserts an equal number of subjects and objects, and then the half-agists, and then the non-pluralists. Then these three, the assertions that the respective assertions of these three types of true expectarians and the differences between these three true expectarians, there is no consensus among the masters on the assertions and the differences between these three types of true expectarians. Yes.
zonzi tonyamba sia de deshi kare ji jiwa de sen zon de jiwa tonyamba pene pe jawa ina chima la ju shubi de da kala pi mabo de sebo ring da ba mo ji ora yuji tin de ti kala da ma ka se yo wa ina yo tin ji ki yi je de la yo kare sen de tonyamba ani kare sen shiba kare sen de ji mi shi su ta chima ma da wa ani 지방 되고 있자 요즘화 되다 예진 집에 되니 아니 종량가 되고 여러 갈아가고 요아에는 예진이 어딘지 시바들 맞는 지그리스 이자가를 손지 종량 봤어야 돼서 존 손지 종량 봤어야 돼 대신 드리진이 작을 했어야
So then, since there is no consensus regarding the assertions and differences between these three, then we cover one of the Tibetan scholars, Geshe Ngawang Thekchok. He explains in his text distillation of the middle way in this manner. So the first, which is the proponents of an equal number of subjects and objects. So then Geshe Ngawang Thekchok explains it by applying it to the example of the different colors on a butterfly's wing. Now he says that since the different colors on the butterfly's wing is the object, and then the subject will be the eye consciousness apprehending these different colors. So from the object side, the different colors, blue, yellow, red, if there are 5 colors from the object side, which is the different colors on the butterfly's wings, and then similar to the number of this different colors from the object sides, then similarly from the subject sides, which is the consciousness, the eye consciousness in particular, then there are 5 different aspects equal in number from the object and the subject that arises in the eye consciousness apprehending these different colors. So this is the way he explains the assertion of the proponent of equal number of object and subjects. So herein we have now we need to kind of be technical and consistent with the terms that we use. In the Tibetan, it's explained in this manner: Zungwa and Zinba. And herein, Zung, in English, it should be translated as that which is taken on the aspect of the apprehended. And Zungwa di yuje bora.
Zungwa di
yula.
Zinba di je.
So then this Zungwa, that which is taken on the aspect of the apprehended, should refer to the object. And then Zin is the apprehending aspect. Now this apprehending aspect or Zin has to refer to the subject.
Yojumuni pen tati chimala shubala down, Mobo the Sepota, Ramandawi, Kalamandaw, Yuri, Yijimuni, and to the Rizibi Shiba Yungu with Yungumaris, Kalanyam did towards the Bishisia, Shiba Chirimado, and a Karedi, Yojumuni, Navamandawa, Tedomanashi, Yijimuni, Zibamandawa, Yungu with Yungumaris, Yijimuni towards the Bishizon, you Kanuji and a Tinzibi told the Kalaka Jinzidi. Shiva Jimado Majiva is that Telegarde, Gomacheta Bas, or Konomidishi, Jagares, Gomacheta Bas, Gomachiga usually.
So then the second type of true expectarian is the half-eggist. And as the name suggests, the literal, if you kind of think about it literally, then when we have an egg and it's the half of an egg, when we cut it. So herein, Geshe Ngawang Thekchok, he uses the same example of the colors, different colors on the wings of a butterfly, and then with regards to the half-eggist, he explained it in this manner. So when the mottled color, that is the different colors, when the different colors on the wing of a butterfly are apprehended from the side of the object, aspects of each of the different colors, these blue, yellow, red, the different colors are cast to the consciousness. And from the subject sides, aspect of each of the different color, blue, yellow, and so forth, are produced in an aspectless manners. So even though from the object side, there are different and 5, let's say 5 different aspects, colors that are cast from the object sides, in the subject, that is the eye consciousness, it is not perceived, and these different aspects are not produced in the eye consciousness. it is only perceived as one mortal vessel.
Teacher, take a much of a jet. Not to Nimi Bassa, the Shikari Jagaresana, the Dan GBC, Eugene Union, Consensus, Mandao, Naba Mateje, Tratan Nabatelas. Pena Chimala Shubala Tavati, Paju Chimala Shubakuro Muni, and the Tro Capoda Naboda, Redis, Turki Naba Matava, Tuyus, the Tuyam, Tataji, Kalakanyan, Gidi, Toji, Nabate. The Tema Najiki, Yejeti Muni Karesan, Yeti Toji Hungrimato, Redini, Seboda, Caboda, Maboda, Naboda, Riziki Nungris, Nungamar, Tos, Duduchi Nungrimato, Redin Kala, Nungris, and Nungumaris, Yujimuni, Tog in Nabateva, Najiki, Jigunio, Tog and Zibato, Jedakala, Nungris, the Nungumari, Nova is a telecarisana, many not to give me pass on the Shitrich Jagares.
So then, with regards to the third type of true expectarian, that is the non-pluralist, then Gongli Gyaltsen, he explains this in this manner. He says in contrast to the two former types of expectarians, these non-pluralists, they say when from the subject side. The previous two, they say these different colors are these individual colors or these different aspects of colors, blue, yellow, are cast from the subject side. But only in the non-pluralists, they say that such a different aspect of color would not be cast from the object side. Only the mortal, collection of colors, would be cast from an object side. And likewise, from the subject side, there is no different aspects of consciousness apprehending each individual color from the consciousness. There is only one consciousness that apprehends this one collection of colors.
Geshe Ngawang Thekchok, Tanibadi Karesana, Toji Liva Sungpatan, Penchasuna Tavasia, Jiniki Geshe Ngawang Pedaba Javana Taridilla, Transi Onshila, no you must say Zita de East. Teshinde, or Yiba Teshinde, Transi Mishi ten the young Mishi Zita de Tumayo, Kilebana, Zuzunyama, Penatari, Pesha, Vayana, Shimalagi Tende, and the Kala Dabaji, Gompa, Sebo, the Kabonabo, Kala Kaduji, Kala Shio, and Zita de Baje, Zita de Jioba Noshiki, Yendela Karadesina, Tenzibi, Nishiba, Zita de Madova, Jichigis, Yukasio, and Yajin de Yamba, Zita de Yujita de Jio, and Yajin, the Zita de Nishiba. Jiwaita Gadari, and the Zitadava, Jiwaita, and the Zuzi Tunyabas, or Della the Shitochi in the Jagaris, Toji Libis Tumbotan, which is not of a Siatugi, Zuzi Tunyabas, or to reach Jagaris at Jirisham.
So, this is the way that Gongli Gyaltsen, he explains the assertions and the difference between these three types of true expectarian. And now, when we move on, then another Tibetan scholars or masters, Chungching Lekpe Sangpo and Panchesunam Chapa, they have a different explanation or different way of explaining the difference and the assertions of these three types of true expectarians. So Chungching Lekpe Sangpo and Panchesunam Chapa, when they explain the proponents of an equal number of subjects and objects, they explain it in this manner. They assert that just as the blue and yellow, which appear to a sense consciousness apprehending a mortal, that is the collection of colors, are different substantials, so within the eye consciousness apprehending the collection of colors, there are many eye consciousness that are different substantial entities. So they kind of explain it through the lens of substantial entities. Thus.
Gompa Hunzi Mishi is Jeshibi Dani Jong, Dinikari, Zitade de Kilebana, Conchizawas, Jidamda, Gompa Hunzi Mishi, Shibi Dani is Mobazi Mishi Dani Dani Jo, Dinikari, Zitade Kilebana, or Gomachizabas, or the Shitriji de Jagaresia.
So then these two Tibetan masters, when they talk about the half-agists, of the true expectarians, then they say the half-agists are so called because they assert that although in general blue and eye consciousness apprehending the blue are entity of the consciousness, but they are different substantial entities. This is why they are called half-agists. Thus.
다 나중에 봐서 내려도 초기 땡기 모세수 지지 예바 신데 천지 미시기 땡기 모세 지비 온신이 지지는 도바 나중에 봐 옆에는 다리 가려서나 먼저 제만하기 때문에 모세라서 깔아가지고 지요는 대속한 지지리스 지지 예바 신데 딘지비 시바 가세 요아에 대소요 가려 지지 예바에서 지지는 도바 예서 가려 나중에 봐서 어두지네 디시작을 했어야 비즈스나 잡아다 정치리와서 뭐지 디시작을 했어야 지리시.
Now, with regards to the third type of true expectarian, the non-pluralists, then these two masters, they assert that just as blue and yellow of this collection of like colors on the butterfly's wings are one substantial entity, so the sense consciousness that apprehends the blue and the yellow and are within the eye consciousness, apprehending the collection of color, are one substantial entity, then this is the reason why they are called non-pluralists.
다 나중에 다른 바데 가르스는 전다 침불이 아니 가르송 거래서는 대송도 찬지 미시기 저월의 디바치 초회의 원세수 수지 정당량이 나시의 뒤지자의 지원도 받는 존재 중요하다. 어때리 가르스는 변화 저원지 미시에나 여가르스나 유들라 딱 준도 맞다고 가르요 와이나요. 이제대라요 대대냐비 시바 맞다와 나시리 뒤바 아니 지원도 그래서 유들라 딱 못sel라서 갈아시요 와이네 제요 나서 못sel라서 갈아시 지자의 지원도 와이다. 아니 존재 중요하다. 저다 침못에서는 존재 중요하다. 디시들이 진짜 그래서 제리죠.
Now, furthermore, like Jamyang Shepa, which is the previous incarnation of the author, which is Kunjo Jingmi Wampo, and so in Jamyang Shepa's great exposition of tenets, then he offers like offers an explanation regarding the differences and assertions of these three types of true expectarians. So Jamyang Shepa, in his great exposition of tenets, explains that proponents of an equal number of subjects and objects are so called because they assert that when an eye consciousness, apprehending the collection of colors, looks at that collection, consciousnesses of a similar type, equal in number to the number of colors, that is blue, yellow, red, and so forth, are produced simultaneously. This is why they are called the proponents of equal number of subjects and objects.
다 공무치 점들이죠. 홍보도 문지 미신이 주들을 되는 만지 예정해서 미들을 되는 아니 가래를 지지디 기념반의 공무치 잡아서 근데 제 가래자르스는 홍보도 문지 미신이 주비들라 만지레스 주비니가서 아니 가래르스는 맞게 제가 여리디요 미비들라 아니 가래를 미들을 되는 아니 지지디 미들을 되는 지지디 기념반의 어느 공무치 잡아서 건조기 그지 제시각이 지시 자와이나
So then Jamyang Shepa further talks about Jamyang Shepa, when he talks about the half-agists, then he kind of explains it in this manner. Then the blue and an eye consciousness apprehending the blue. Now this subject and object, even though they are coming into existence, are serial in order. One comes after the after, but at the time of observation, at the time of observation, they are like one substantial entity. So this is why they are called half-agists.
Could you say that again?
So the blue and the eye consciousness apprehending it as blue, even though when they come into existence, they are serial in order.
One after the other.
One after the other. But at the time of observation, then they are like produced, or they are like accepted as one substantial entity. Now here the qualification is at the time of observation.
다 되리죠. 다 담아도 가르쳐. 나중 이미 봤을 때 시가르치자 그랬으나 찬지 미시지로 열라 티비치 유지 땡기 호세소 정동 냠비 나시리 뒤 지차때 메제바 찬지 미시 기부티 truly think Monsensu Zibi Onshiba, Kinaba, Nasu Nimeba, Shishibi, or that Kokares in the Pena, Tonzibi, Mishitari, Chimali, Shubala Town, to Kalala Sobala, Moboji, Yinio, Mishiti Karesina, Batawala Tibatesi, Mishiti Chipotica, and Troysu Kalakadujo, and the Tiruchi, Latova Zakare, Zitova Zakaresina, Nasu Nimebas. Yuji the Kalakadujo, Yoaino, Yijiti, Chipotiki, and the Karesine, Kalakadu in the Nyanda, Tuduchi, the Chinisi, the Zakare, and the Nasu Nimebas, or Tuchi Shigresia, the Jedino.
So then, Jamyang Shepa, when he talks about the non-pluralists, he says that they are called so because they assert that this is not the case. When an eye consciousness apprehending a model looks at its object, consciousnesses of similar type, equal in number to the number of colors, are produced simultaneously. Rather, they assert that the mere eye consciousness apprehending the collection of colors is the sense consciousness apprehending the blue, yellow, and so forth of the model or the collection.
Tatri Jason, she took the Karas, keep up soon, Karata, the Sumatra, Sumatra, some Dinoni, that's also Karado, Devada Wayna, or this is on the degrees to Sondo. She below this some Genoni, Conde was so much, so to send Tea Karadona, they kill in the degrees, keep us keep at Tesuki, the Shimata, which jail, the Yin and Sulu, the Samba. Karayungo Doina, maybe needs to do Tuba, Onoya, some Karayungo Yoina, so to be take Kine, and the dictated Shiana, and the Tigresia, or Tigerisha.
So these are the different ways that these masters explain about the assertions and the differences of the the types of true expectarians. So since there is no consensus among the masters themselves, then it is up to you to decide which appeals to you and which meets which appeals most to you. The reasoning you should able to you should take which appeals the most to you as the definition of these types of true expectarians.
Caress, you chibachi, moving you to Karatudu, or the G. Kino Gurimato, Jimubi Nusu, the Matubadawayana, Sanji Sunina, killing by Yeres and the Yomares. The Consonji Sonshia, the Chibachi, moving you to Tugudona, the killing, moving you to the Matubayana, and got the killing of Yeres and Yomares. So, no, you got the Ribituni, Chibachi, Jessica, Jessica Tuado, or Tuluki Chibachi killing of each child of Rosa, the Chichel.
So, now this is the feature of studying Buddhism, wherein when we study an object, then we should always use our reason and logic to see if if the explanation is given on the particular topic meets your reasoning or it appeals to you or not, and then if these explanations matches the nature of reality. So even the words of the Buddha, the teachings of the Buddha should be scrutinized with reasoning and logic.
That's John is so much nice to Baradon, taking away Yemati. That's Suzuki Chibachi, Chishon in the shade, the Adabachi, Yoadabachi, they moving to the Metuba, they by Shashana, Kayungo Maris, Maris and Sanji, Laja Dano Javores, Matsachi, which is killing by Kayama, Niki, Sochi, Nishi, they moving to Tubutu, they Dagorimato, Nishia, Resia, the Matsachi, Nishia, the killing of the resident, killing of Messes, Sanji Corona Tuschini, Mason, Soncheresa, Dejewa.
So herein I would like to stress it again that when you study the scriptures and the teachings of the Buddha and the various different commentaries that you study, then we should not take this text as it is and just follow the text blindly. So of course when you read the text, and then the reasonings that are like explained, the reasonings that are given in the text about a particular topic, if it appeals to you and if it meets the requirements of logic and reason for you, and then it is in line with the nature of reality, then you should accept and follow these teachings. But if there are instances in the text and the teachings and the commentaries wherein you do not agree with it because of reasoning and logic, and from your point of observation it does not, it is not in line with the nature of reality, then it is not a big deal to discard them. So then, even as the Buddha himself said, like, just because you want to hold me as something holy and precious, you should not follow my teachings blindly. Always try to scrutinize it with your own experiences and with your own reason and logic.
Ngaji parasana churoko mayinza churopa yusumbati ni killing misi and the churopa dongayon chibuya ke mares karesa kuni jitsu de baresha kasi ngobindesu de sudu tuguyena dini tugede churopa to bayina da nobeto bayina da koni ji konsonshia de ngobi nyuchi do kare tugudo jitsu do kare digido dingi namba jini di killing imado ma sanji payesi sanji de shingujiya da Sanji Bayes, the Churapala Doachi, to the Chig, the Chigmares, Jetset de Bacardo, Ribade de Bacardo, the English to teaches to be Jetset de Bacardo and the Dengi Nomadon, Nova Killing Mato, Maturishi, which in the degrees, the Tigmaris at the Nakamakibatas of Yon to the Sunday, you would raise at the
So, not just the Buddha himself, then the later Indian masters, when they talk about studying and practicing, then even they stress that just because you are a Buddhist, just because you call yourself a Buddhist, you should not have like this out of like this sense of allegiance to the Buddha and Buddhism. You should not like follow the texts and the commentaries blindly. And then just because you are a Buddhist, you should not discard the teachings of the non-Buddhist schools as unreasonable without scrutinizing them with logic and reason. So always try to scrutinize it with reason and logic and see if it is in line with the true nature of reality, these teachings. Yes.
Suzuki Karasani, Yenti go, Suzuki Debati, Malaysia thinking, Nijaji go or Mato, Suzu Debat multiply in that, and then you give me Siana, then you give Suzu Debat multiply in a Paju Metic City at the Jizento, maybe need to Karadu, Suzuki Yen, Javacheting, Suzuki Yampa, Malakari, Deshija, Jatawachi, Gogora, or that Chibata Chadora.
Now to kind of relate these kind of like points or teaching stressed by the late masters and the Buddha himself, then to kind of relate it to a real life example. So as a human being in a community or a society, then it's kind of necessary to live in a society or just to exist as a human being, to be able to listen to a different opinion or to a different perspective. And then if you are only like, if you do not ever like have the capacity to listen to a different perspective or a different opinion, then it doesn't really, you're not a fully functioning almost a human. So for you even to exist functionally as a human, then it's important to accept this difference of opinions and then to investigate this difference in opinions, and then of course you should be able to explain your point of view or your opinion to others. So this is the reason why it's stressed by the later Indian masters and the Buddha himself to always be open to a difference of opinions and to always have an open mind to these different opinions and to investigate these different opinions. Thus.
대체 다들에서 리그로 대체 다 존재 존냐바텔라 가르치고 컨티니 난데 바텔라 존재 존냐바도 아니 가르 공마 치자와도 나서 님에 숨쉬고라 다 숨쉬에 차비 쇼텔라 다 다도 존재 존냐바되게 텔라 가르용 거랬으나 나시 초진 되게지도 아니 가르래 나시 초조 되게지 두 주지는 뭐라 니도 용거래서 대지제.
So now with this we have kind of covered the three types of true expectarians and the different ways that the different masters explain their respective assertions and differences. Now moving on, the second type of mind only is the false expectarians. And the false expectarians the 정념 라이더라든다.
존재 존냐바텔라.
So then the proponent of furthermore, when we talk about the three types of true expectarians, then furthermore the first type of true expectarian, which is the proponent of an equal number of subjects and objects, they are asserted to be two types: those who assert 8 consciousnesses and those who asserted 6 consciousnesses.
다 동보 존재 존냐바텔라 나시 초지 너바테 나시 초지의 가르에서는 다 맞아 나지데리 용다 나시 두기라 조디 가르에서는 빼는 맥이 나바시바 나이 나바시바 나이 나바시바 지 나바시바 루지 나바시바 이제 나바시바 때도 조 디가라 가르자고 그래서는 군셔야 지지 안 디가라 가르에서는 뉴이스 로아 어디지들라 가르에서는 나시 초지에서도 나주 용다기 온시가 이지시바 지조 디가라 가르에서는 군셔야 돼 지도 뉴이스야 돼 니자도도 가르에서는 나시 초지에야 돼 도시 차별해서 이지제.
So then, when a proponent of when we say there are two types of the proponent of an equal number of subjects and objects, then the first one is those who assert 8 consciousnesses. And now the 8 consciousnesses, to kind of enumerate them, would be the 5 sense consciousnesses, which are the eye consciousness, ear consciousness, nose consciousness, tongue consciousness, and body consciousness. And then these are the 5 sense consciousness plus mental consciousness, an afflicted mind, and a mind basis of all. So these 8 are asserted to be the 8 consciousness. That's
it. 나시 초종되바데 지조아 지디카레 나시 초진도 계제도 초종되게 초종되게들 다다 니디니 파피고 가르치는 꾸시스야 되다 아니 뉴이스야 되니 파피와이나 라마투들 가르치는 나시 초조스 온데그레스 디 뉴이도 꾸시니 파피와이나 아마 나시 졸라가요자 어때되게들라 아니 나시 초종도 계기 수주로냐 봐서 어디지 요래서 지지.
So then if this is the first type of proponent of an equal number of subjects and objects who asserts 8 consciousnesses, then the second one asserts only 6 consciousnesses, which is the 5 sense consciousnesses and the mental consciousness. They do not accept the other 2, which are the afflicted mind and the mind basis of all.
다 나주 님에 받으라 가르치고 그랬죠. 나시 초조마 와제동 나시 기분마 와지 뭐로 이유도 다다 나주 님에 받어야 되라. 나시 초조해야 되다 다리 나시 초조되지. 다 나시 집에서 와서 가르쳐 다 생집어 받는 게 뭐로 다 이지나 바시바 이제 어디 집을 마 되게 콜라 나주 님에 받으라 뭐로 이투지니 이유도 해야 되지요.
So furthermore, when we talk about the non-pluralists of the 3 types of true expectarian, then the non-pluralists are said to be are of 2 types. One who proposes or asserts 6 consciousnesses, and one who asserts a single consciousness.
대체 지디가 지디도 있어. 그래서나 남대비 이와도 어디서 남대비 이와도 남대비기 나신 가는 되게 메시아데 디시라고도하지. 단니바가 난주바들 이와들도 산산 난주바들 이와도 지니 디지 난주바도 아니 재미 난주바시아데 산산 난주바들 이와도 시기는 디지 난주바도 디지 가세 난주바도 아니 재미 난주바시 도지니 이유도 세티지야.
So with this we have covered the discussion about the true expectarians and their types. And then, now moving on, the false expectarians, of the two types of two sub-schools of mind-only school, the second one, the false expectarians, are said to be of two types: tainted false expectarians and non-tainted false expectarians.
다 뒤집어 난주바도 재미 난주바더니 디소 코로니 이 대신하고 가려 돼서 내려도 신중오라 말이 바자지 디밀레바 되바는 뒤집어서 그래서 그래서 신주롱시 신중오 그러는 말이 바자지 디밀레 되와 레반 되게지 요자가라 콜라 레반 되게기 네 산점 난주바들라 가려래 아니 뒤지 난주바세야 이제 신중오라 말이 바자지 디밀 제가 중지 좀 말해봐 되바나 가려래 네 디밀 난주바세야
So when we talk about these two types of false expectarians, then the first one, which is the tainted false expectarians, then they are called the tainted false expectarians because they assert that the nature of mind or the entity of mind is polluted by ignorance. And then the non-tainted false expectarians are called so because they assert that the nature of mind or the entity of mind itself is not in the least polluted by ignorance.
마리바라 산지산 마리바 여 마리디 이나요 마리부 추 노마디 요아 인전 투노 예비탄 디지바다 산지산 마리바 메비 아니 가르네 투노요 메바 되바에는 드메 바서 어 드리지니요 이와데라요 어 드리지니 신게요 유그레서 디제리죠.
So then another way of explaining these two types of false expectarians are explained in this manner. So someone who says that at the time of Buddhahood, even though there is no ignorance, there are mistaken appearances. So if there is a mistaken appearance at the time of Buddhahood, then it is accepted as someone who is a tainted false expectarian. Then someone who is a non-tainted false expectarian will assert that at the time of Buddhahood, since there is no ignorance, then there is no mistaken appearance too.
드리지스 그래서 디지지 용다 아니 용나 가르서 다들 상담받아 권이요 상담되라 나대 받은 난주바스 드주근이 시주지 유레스 데미 제바요 대시 자도지 가르 유레스 상담되라 안좀 도대 받아요 시원의 시기 가르에서나 도대 받아요 니시원 롱기지로 도대 받아 리피지로 도대 받지 니시거로 대노시기 상담되라요 가르에서 롱기지로기 아니 상담받지도 리피지로 상담받아서 뭐 드리지네요 단위 당에 용거레스 가르에서 상담받을 이와 친구들 나내 받아 나주받지 지와 직시 시주지를 가르에서 롱기지로 도대 받아 아니 리피지로 도대 받아서 뭐 드리거든요 상담받을 이와 시기 용거레스 대지지.
So then since we are still discussing about the sub-schools of the mind on the school, then the discussion that we had so far is the interpretation of these sub-schools on the basis of true and false expectarians. Then furthermore, like just as it was explained in the Vaibhashika school, in the Sutra school, that the Sutra school is divided into those who follow scripture and those who follow reasoning. Then this school is sometimes interpreted, this mind-only school is sometimes divided into those who follow scripture and those who follow reasoning.
다 대상도 다 롱기지로도 리피지로 상담반이 가르쳐 그래서는 sensi라고 가르쳐 그래서는 롱기지로도 상담받아야 사딩아 같잖아 파파 통명이 집에 사딩아서 배차지고 어디 지수로인데 디 지수로도 되더라 아니 롱기지로 상담받았어 리피지로 상담바 가르쳐서는 세마디디 가서 배추지 잡아서 손시야 담아키디로 지추지 잡아서 손시 세마디디 디 지수로 또 지수로 되게 상담받을 아니 가르
So then when we talk about the sub-schools, and the discussion we had so far was on the basis of aspects between true expectarian and false expectarian. Then what is the difference between this interpretation, wherein we say the mind-only school is further divided into those who follow reasoning and those who follow scripture. Then the followers of scripture are said to be those who rely on Asanga's 5 treatises on the grounds. So those who rely on this text by Asanga is said to be the followers of scripture of mind-only school. And then the later, which is the follower of reasoning, are said to rely on Dhammakriti's 7 treatises on prime cognition. Thus.
대체 어디다든지 다 선바드 가르치는 아주 신이 예와도 좋아하지. 다 선바 다시지야. 산자바스야 되기 다시 될라 가르유 그러시나 산자바스야 다시 메타도 될라 안에 뭐라고 소유고도 산자바스야 될 뭐라고 가서 요즘은 숨지. 동바디 가르치는 산자바 코노지 니바디 가르치는 나리파 사지 숨바디 가르치는 난조초바스 어디를 가르치나 상상부 코로나요 메인 뭐라고 숨도 미용거리 동보 섬자바되지 니바디 가르치는 나리파 나바리파 숨바디 가르치는 난조초바스 어디를 지금에 답이 열에서 되지되죠.
So with this we have covered the first 2 parts of the mind-only, the presentation of the mind-only school, which are the definition and the sub-schools. Now moving on, we are on the 3rd part of the presentation of the mind-only school, which is the etymology. And then, when we talk about the etymology of the mind-only school, then the mind-only school are known by these 3 various names. As we say, mind-only is one, and then they are sometimes also called the proponents of cognition, and then sometimes they are also called the yogic practitioners.
다 동보 가르치나 안에 산자바사 가르치나 동보 섬자바사 미 가르치 다바리스나 주단지 senji 다니자들 조바레스 마와인자 가르레 산자바스 산자바스고 지스가레 주단지 senji 다니자들 조바레스 고 마와인자 안에 산자바스 메인들지 다바레스 아되지.
So then when we talk about the etymology of the first name, the proponents of mind only, then herein they are called, then they kind of describe why they are called mind only. Then they say that it is because they assert that all phenomena are mere entity of the mind.
니바데 나바리바사 대해서 주단지 senji 나바리바sam들이지. 주단지 senji 나바리바sam들 줘봐. 주단지 senji 나바리바sam들 리바키냐 바이자 니가레 나리바스 어떻게지 시기도 되지지.
나바리발은 다기 나바디시 거라다. 다기 남발한테 가서 강하게 계시기가 남진 남송은 송남송
다 생기 농화점에서 다 도도도도 에 나바제 주단지 생기 농화점 생기 나바리 바서 생기 농화점 마도 여바리 생을 가래 나바리 바서 나리 바서 대시고라 거기 주단지 생기 농화점도 줘봐 인자 가래래 농화점도 줘봐 인자 나바리 바서.
So then when we talk about the second name by which they are called proponents of cognition, then they are called so because now almost same as the first one, wherein mind only, they are called mind only because they assert that all phenomena are mere entity of the mind. Wherein, herein they are called proponents of cognition because they say that all phenomena are just aspects of appearances to the mind. This is why they are called proponents of cognition.
다 somebody 가르치나 난주 줘봐서 매 가르치 다바리스나 난주 지고니 아니 난주 줘봐 냐래 때라고 봐나 가래래 아니 난주 줘봐서 매들이 다바리스 난주 지고니 아니 남주 줘봐 냐래 때라고 봐야지 남버 줘봐 지고니 남버 줘봐 지고니 아니 남주 냐래 와 남주 줘봐 냐래 때라고 봐야지 아니 난주 줘봐서
So then the third name by which they are known is the yogic practitioners or the yogacharas. And so then they are called so because they settle the practice of the deeds of the path from the yogic point of view.
They
are so called because they what?
They settle the deeds.
Settle the deeds.
Or they settle the practice of the deeds of the path from the yogic point of view. Now, yogic, when we talk about direct perception, we say like there's a sense direct perception. So here in yogic is like a realized person, no?
It's a direct perception of reality.
Now I cannot say it conclusively, but
So,
we'll cover it.
okay.
So as we are out of time, we stop here today.
May I ask one?
Uh,
One of the false sectarians,
Mhm.
they accept only one consciousness. So
False.
what is the one consciousness?
Tene namshi sheba chichibu dunye jiros de namzumala sheba tru dunye da sheba chi dunye da songros ne sheba chi di khare la dunye res ko
아마제 디이제 시바치 디이제 나바시바스야 디이제 배나가 저라 이 온시디스 게 지금 지단 나바 시바스야 디이제 나바시바디 지고 디이제로
So then when this false expectarian, they say there is only one consciousness, then it kind of has to refer to the mind consciousness.
Mental consciousness.
Mental consciousness.
저 건조 그 빼다고 들이대 시고도 빼는 아주 가르스는 시버지 있나요? 대가르스는 자와 먹을 지트게요. 빼는 콤바 지면 디노는 아주 추면을 붙이 빠샤이나 로시는 경시에나 피니타나 추면 통거리 니니타나 니니타나 니니통 자주 통도 거야. 어때 너지? 시버지마도 매와이나요? 유지군은 좋은데 가르다 빼 안주고 다고 와야 다. 근데 지 들이지 가르래. 매그 좀 통화서 들이지 시버지 있나요? 자와나만 지거리 있어. 나도 시버지마도 예 말했어. 배는 마음이 지마도 왜 봐요. 추진다 마음에 통는 거로 와서 어들이지 디시작에서 연구도 했잖아.
So one way of explaining their assertion, the false expectarian, that there is only one single consciousness, then herein when they say there is only one single consciousness, they assert that this single consciousness is able to perform many different functions simultaneously. And then they kind of assert this with the illustration of a lamp. And now in a lamp, when a lamp is in a house, and then like there are like windows or doors in 4 different directions, then when you look from all the directions, then like there are 4 different lamps that exist in the 4 different directions, even though there is only one lamp. So this single lamp that we are able to see from all different directions, the windows and the doors on the 4 different directions, this single lamp is that single consciousness.
Yeah, this is
These what? Substantial entities. Do you want to take that now?
Oh no, we will take it in the next class, yeah?
Dedications, so you just do some prayers. Page 30.
Thank you.